Whenever you guys are ready.
Today is Wednesday, July 16th, and the time is 6:03, and I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Arts and Cultural Board, and can I please have a roll call?
Um, Board Chair Melissa Spence. Here. Board Chair Annabelle Gomez. Here. Board Chair Andrea McRae. Here. Board Vice Chair Fabiana Melendez Ruiz. Here. And then Board Chair Rosemont Burke. I just realized what I said. Yeah. Board Vice Chair, Board Chair, yes.
Here.
Thank you.
First item is approval of the prior meeting minutes of June 4th.
I motion to approve will I open this. I second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Minutes have been approved. Okay, we now open up for the citizen comment period with the Arts and Cultural Board. We welcome comments from citizens. Anyone wishing to speak is encouraged to sign in before the meeting begins, and speakers may be provided with an opportunity to speak during this time period on the agenda item or any other matter concerning our board business. And please observe the 3-minute time limit, and seeing that we don't have anybody here for citizen comments, we will continue on with that. I pass that item. Next up is staff reports and presentations. Receive a report, hold a discussion, and provide staff feedback regarding general updates on department announcements, public art and culture related items, procedures, maintenance, and projects such as Lake Kyle Fitness Court, co-sponsorship request, traffic box art program, Sky Blooms art sculpture, roundabout art, tiny art gallery, and the public art master plan. Presenter is Chris S. Photo. Deputy Director of Parks and Rec.
So let's stop sharing. Start sharing on my end.
It's here. Hi, Todd.
Hello.
I guess so. I'll kick it off real quick and I'll turn it over to you. But Chris Escoto, Deputy Director, Parks and Recreation. So just so you are aware, I know I've been taking the lead a lot on discussion and items for this board itself, but actually Will Atkinson, which I know y'all met him in the past, he is actually your what do we call it? Your liaison. So Will is going to be your kind of like, he is the point of contact when it comes to this board. So he's the project manager or parks planning and project manager, where he's going to be doing a lot of the planning efforts. He's the kind of the project manager, or he is the project manager for the arts and cultural master plan, or the arts master plan that we're currently conducting, and working heavily with Todd every day. So there is going to be a slide here for Todd that he's going to speak to. We are also going to have a update regarding the tiny art gallery box, and we are actually expecting that here shortly. Our staff is going to be delivering that, so I'll be going downstairs in a little bit to get that box and bring it up for you all to get to see. And we'll touch on it a little bit more, but with that, I'll just turn it over to Will.
Thank you, Chris. TV here. It was off. Okay, thank you. Quick overview. We're be talking tonight about the Lake Kyle Fitness Court, co-sponsorship request, traffic box art program, Sky Blooms, roundabout art, tiny art gallery boxes, and the public art master plan. So the Lake Kyle Fitness Court, this was complete at the beginning of this month, and we are so excited that it's done. It's fully up and running. It's been used multiple times by lots of people already. And I'll have a number for you. But it's a really cool project. We go out there, go to Lake Kyle, 700 Lehman Road, just to the right of their log cabin they have out there, the park offices. And And you can see it, and there even has instructions. You can click on a QR code, take a picture of it, it opens up and tells you what to do. This is gonna be happening on July 22nd, and I do not remember what time.
At 6:30.
6:30 p.m.
Y'all got the invite, right? Okay.
I saw the social media video today.
I did too.
Oh, it's on
Good.
both?
Yeah.
The fighter girl.
Yeah. And then funnily enough, I saw it during my workout.
Cool.
So did you get inspired?
I was so inspired. I was like, you know what? We should do arms today.
So I keep telling myself I haven't done it yet, but I live. Well, I need to go use it. That's like halfway to work to the office for me in the morning, and I'm usually at the office by like 7:30 in the morning. So what I need to do is just go do that and bring a change of clothes.
And so just real quick, I hope that y'all can come, like, and as you, I'm sure Cole's gonna hit on, there is like the art aspect to it, and so it is just beginning of everything, and so I hope y'all can come and bring your friends. We wanna make sure that people know there's a fitness, but also like an art community out there, and so making sure that it's very well known, very present.
Yep.
Presence is really is everything.
Is there a time curfew for that park?
Yes.
Okay.
It is on the City of Kyle Park's webpage, and I do not know. Actual time without looking at it.
12 a.m., right?
Yeah, so we're actually gonna be updating that. Right now, it's a little strange. I think Monday to Friday, it's till some certain time. And then Saturday, Sunday, it's closed at a different time. So we're just gonna change that to where it's just like, yeah, 7 days a week. It's
Yeah.
just from this time to this time. I wanna say it's midnight right now, what the curfew technically is for.
Is there
county.
lighting?
There's no lighting yet, but this is similarly, there's no shade. But shade, lighting, all those various things is something that will be implemented in a future phase.
Okay.
We're counting for that in our 5-year CIP or capital improvements. But yeah, on the side, the face of you kind of see the end of the wall here on the left image. On the face of that facing Lehman Road, there's a mural on there that one of our team members in the Parks Department did, Rachel Acevedo. So she's an artist. She does all sorts of artwork, not just like mural stuff. It's a digital format that she sent over to the National Fitness Campaign, and they converted it into what is that?
A wrap.
A wrap, yeah. So it's pretty cool. So we're pretty excited about it.
Very visible from that street.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, so it's exciting. All right, next slide. Co-sponsorship request. We actually had a phone call today with our legal department about if the Arts and Cultural Board, y'all want to be maybe not so much a sponsor per se, but we have y'all's logo on the quilts for
Vote flyer.
quilt flyer and what have you, and the legal's generally okay with it as long as y'all take action on it at future meetings. So this is if anybody ever wants to use y'all as a group that provides support, but you just like on their flyers and stuff like that. So it'll be an item to.
So like an endorsement.
Like an
Yeah,
With
an
our
endorsement. Thank
logo.
you. Yes,
Right,
an
you're
endorsement.
real struggling to, I was like, I know what you know.
Yeah,
Like,
I know what I'm trying to say,
Okay.
but I don't, yeah. So, but yes, an endorsement for
I know,
sure.
it does, okay, I know.
Sorry, I'm like,
art, me
I
too.
will contain myself. I'm contain
I mean,
myself.
you can, like, you wanna just go ahead and skip to that slide?
Oh, we can.
Sure.
That's you already, I think it's
The
already
cat's out of
caught
the
our
bag.
attention.
On the back. All right, well, 1 second.
You're really gonna make a wait until then.
Hold on.
Oh, three.
There we
Oh,
go.
There it is.
Just take a while. All right, so we have tiny art gallery boxes. It's in progress.
Really?
And
Turned around.
so the previous rendition of this was it was more of had a round stain on it. It had a hinged side opening on the back, but now it opens from the top, like that.
Yay.
Yay.
And so
Yeah.
I think it functions better, and it probably matches it a little bit better than what that too is true to form than it was originally.
Yeah, so really the purpose of this was, we only did one.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to make sure, hey, are we okay with this direction?
Mhm.
Happy with it. I know he is, for lack of a better word, doing us a favor, with having to go back and redoing it. Because there was some convoluted information that was provided at the beginning, unfortunately. But knowing that we paid for it for the customer, he wants to make sure that we have a product that we are satisfied with. And so with that, I mean, I'm looking at little details here. But overall, I wasn't sure what the feedback was. That way we can notify the builder, in this instance, with the update. Yes, we do like it. Please proceed with the rest of them. So we did tell them to get that solar light flush. It's,
Yeah, it looks
it
good.
looks better than what it used to be,
Yeah.
but there were some avenues there that I feel like we could still improve on. I just wanted to get y'all's feedback on it.
Well, it's definitely better than before, but considering the price that we paid for it, I mean, I would like to see like, there's some where
Yeah, the copy.
the clock
Yeah.
needs to be trimmed a little bit, so it, I mean, if this would have been only for $25, I wouldn't be talking about caulking, but
Yeah.
you know.
What kind of paint did he use? Is it gonna be weather resistant?
Good question, and we can ask that, and actually, I think I,
Whether he needs to put
I do
another,
have a note of that. Let me check.
put a weather resistant coat on it or something, yeah. Weather seal or something.
Might smooth out some of the.
I mean, since this is black, you don't see it as much anymore, but yeah,
Mhm.
you just,
Like once it's outdoors.
it'll be. Liked it to been smoother.
And what is the stamp it's gonna be on? Is that something that's gonna be built by Parks and Rec to mount it on or?
It's gonna have to be.
I thought that was the deal, was that we were gonna leave it up to the Parks and Rec, I think, if I remember
Yes.
correctly, that they were gonna determine what's the best way to mount it. And then
Because
they
there's
would
like
be doing
soil
them,
and
yes,
other
depending where we
considerations.
were
Yeah.
gonna put them.
I can't see that side, but is there a lock?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
it's, there's a key taped to the top and then there's a lock that you can turn it and.
How high is it gonna be off the ground?
Well, that'd be up to us, like,
Okay.
Because it depends, like if we want children to
6
be
feet.
able to look in.
Yeah, it really depends.
The
Yeah, the
heat
type of
day.
art, the location will be probably the first thing, which I'm not sure if there's direction given in the past on locations. And if there were, we can go back to those minutes and,
Yeah.
and identify what those are. But yeah, I would probably say, depending how you want the individual to interact with it, it could be eye level, it could probably be something, I mean, I would think for this, you'll probably want it to be eye level, but then it could be something or just something that you're able to access, whether it's a kid, maybe 3, 4, 5 feet within that range, is kind of what I'm thinking with a
Yeah.
post. Metal post, or is probably the ideally what we will highlight and fix it to, but I'll get with the artist or the builder and get with him to see if we could just do a bracket in the bottom and it
Mhm.
won't mess anything up that way. It just, so it needs to be 4 posts or 2 posts, I don't know.
I do think it makes sense to think about the children during like, if it's in the library, but I think for the rest of them, they should be adult level. Children will grow. So like, if they're always down here, you know, like what am
Yeah,
I gonna look
there's
at?
there's ADA standards, so we
Yeah.
could just go off ADA.
Yeah,
for
I
those
think
heights.
3-4 feet is pretty good.
we don't want somebody sitting on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, let's say it's a chair,
Yeah.
a stool.
I would say barring the minutia, like the caulking and stuff, overall, it is much better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So the paint is it Burr from the one that you could get from like Home Depot? I wanna say that is exterior, I mean, it's part of the scope, they
It
need to
looks
make
like
sure it's
exterior
exterior
paint, yeah.
paint, so.
Okay.
And then, since these will be completed soon, when are we going to put it out there for the community to start like submitting? you know. People. And are we like changing it out every quarter or is it,
Yeah, great question, and maybe that's something that we can assign, not to put Todd on the spot, but that could probably be something that we can, not necessarily identify the programming elements, but the opportunities that may
Yeah.
exist. Let's say, this took, what, a month and a half or so, I think, for us to, maybe longer, for us to be able to get to this stage here. So I envision he's gonna turn these around in the next month, both of them. So come, for sure, September, we'll have all three in hand. We'll send him this one back, that way he could finalize it, touch it up per direction. And depending what avenue we wanna go, if it's gonna be something that we wanna involve the school district, and see if maybe they just wanna highlight, work with a art program and see if they just wanna highlight their art in one of these. I mean, there's various ways we can go about it, or if we wanna procure something more grand, then we can have that discussion. I would say budget is gonna have to be one of those avenues that we'll have to discuss too, if we are gonna be incentivizing people to pay them to make art that fits here, or do we just wanna make it a rotating piece that's just selected on behalf of the community, that they just submit their idea and go from there. So there's various ways you can go about it, and probably Todd could take notes and provide us some suggestions later on, once we get to that recommendation stage. As some of those programming elements perhaps, and I'm just saying, Todd, I'm just saying this loosely, I don't know if you have any ideas for that, or that's gonna be part of that, but I know this was one of those projects that it's been a long project in the making. It started back
Rosemary.
mid last year, maybe April of last year, so we're already at the end of the year, quite frankly, so it's about a year and a half that this project has occurred for, so we definitely want to make sure that, with it being the first project, so to say, that it's still one of those avenues that people can be proud
Well, what do we have to do to, I mean, I think the original thought was we weren't gonna pay anybody to put anything in here. It was gonna be more like we're featuring their art. This gives them free advertising. They could even put QR codes in there if they want to.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess I would like to fast track this so that we have something in the fall. I mean, we were waiting to have a case so that we could put that out there and say to people, we would like to display your art, submit it. I mean, if we want to have a theme, then we need to think of that.
Sure.
But we do have the item now. We know what size it is. They can see what, do I want my art in there? Would it look nice in there? I mean, I don't want to just wait till he's all done with them. I don't see any reason to not, whatever process we need to do to ask for this to get going.
It'd be great for the
That's fair.
holidays.
Yeah.
Can you imagine for them?
Yeah, and can you give us an idea of what those parks were that we discussed in the past?
Right.
We had wondered downtown here, but we weren't sure if they would let us put it in the park downtown here, or if it's someplace else downtown it could be, but we wanted it to be somewhere where there was traffic, but yet it wouldn't get abused at night either.
Yeah.
Like
use a visitor center.
Yeah,
Technically, these are meant for outdoor, right? But there's a cruise center
Yeah.
that I mean, you do have traffic during events that could highlight,
Mhm.
and that could still accommodate that downtown.
Mhm.
Even here, but I understand that these were meant to be outdoors.
I do think it goes back to the conversation of waiting until they're ready to be put up, because we had talked initially about like the library and other spaces, but then I think the library came and they were like, it depends, because we have this and we have this, and also
Yeah.
we don't know. So I think this is like we have to cross that bridge when we get there. Depending on like what Parks and Rec recommends in terms of like placement, traffic control, ADA compliance, and like
Yeah.
where.
Was the library thinking they would be responsible for taking care of it?
No, I don't. This was like October. 50 years.
maybe it's because they have other displays and stuff
Yeah.
inside as well. It's really maybe not part of their overall. But, again, like even out at Lake Kyle now, we have more stuff out there, so,
Bike
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah, I think one thing that we can do, I know it looked like Todd was maybe gonna say something. Did you have some thoughts, Todd, on this?
About where to put them, or about
The programming element.
well, I guess, a basic question I have is the point for people to borrow or to take art, or what will be delivered I mean, it'll be art, but like what, is it just for people to take and keep like a tiny book library or?
Oh, no.
Showcase,
Mm-hmm.
it's a showcase.
Okay, so it's more like oh, I see. Okay. So basically the art is displayed inside and then people can look at it and then if they like it, they can get in touch with the artist or something like that.
Mhm.
And I guess, is it built so that it's watertight? So you could put, I mean, is I guess you can put paintings in there, you could put sculptures in there, you could put little.
Well, just seen from this view, though, it's not
Yeah.
completely watertight.
Yeah.
On that side,
Well, I can see like the light coming through on certain edges.
So yeah,
so-
the idea, Todd, is that it
so you don't want
is
little.
going to allow for multidisciplinary like art showcasing, barring like the details we just discussed, where like we need to go back to the guy and have him make it watertight.
Yeah, I doubt any artist will want to put their work in there if it can get wet.
It's not
Um,
even that, it's just
and
even
we
the little
did-
ants and stuff. You
We
don't
did
want-
talk historically about like the safety and the maintenance and things of art too. So this has been like a ongoing conversation about not
Okay.
just how it should be presented, but also how do we ensure, because these are going to be on display all the time, that things aren't going to get, I don't know, stolen or damaged, or just like at risk of weather.
Right. Well, so I mean, I was getting off on a little bit of a sidetrack, but I think programming wise, I mean, it could be a lot of fun. You could basically, have some sort of application process where people can apply to show their work and have it be juried. So that, and maybe every month it rotates, or 2 months, or however often you have the capacity to do it, or depending on the volume of applications you get, right? But I think some sort of application process, people can send photos of things they would like to include, and then a committee decides. You might need to set up, like with any process, some criteria, like are they from Kyle, are they from your Hayes County? Um, and then you know, curate them with sort of an eye towards like maybe every month there's a different thing. Like 1 month it's sculpture, 1 month it's painting, 1 month it's flora and fauna, 1 month it's history. You know what I'm saying? Like you could organize the pieces you show thematically. The key is just going to be getting people, to apply. But that's how I would envision it, like a fun juried process.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. I think so. One thing that we could do, knowing that, I mean, we'll have to come back to you all. We're not really prepared to go through all the questions today and the procedures and parameters. What we can do is come prepared this next meeting for us to be able to get that action plan. We'll go ahead and provide, just to expedite the process, we'll go ahead and provide some recommendations. Rather than say, hey, what do you like? And then coming back the next month, say, here you go, do you like this?
Mhm.
We could just come to the table with some of those solutions. So we'll have a dedicated item just for this next month. And then I think by then we'll have all three of them as well. So
I was gonna suggest maybe saying to the artist, putting in some sort of like black weather stripping.
yeah,
That way when it closes, it kind of, seals. That might be the easiest.
Yeah.
Because I don't think with the wood being, not
yeah,
perfectly straight.
I
it's-
see. I don't know if that's weather seal there, weather strip.
Oh, inside there,
is-
yeah.
I wonder if that was the
Maybe he was
intention.
gonna put that eventually, yeah.
So I have to go back to my email to see if there's just some little pieces missing, but overall, if this was his product that he said, I wanted to make sure he didn't get too carried away or
Right.
under delivered.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring it to you all today. If you guys are perfectly fine with the direction, I know there's a few details you guys mentioned. We'll provide those. with the correction and just have them move forward.
Because I don't want little bugs to go in there and decide, oh, this is a great place to have a nest in.
It'd be good to give them a drop dead date. That way we can plan for that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we could definitely do that. My goal is to come back with you all this next month, which is, what's that date, Tamara? August
That's like
15th, kind of around this time.
Yeah.
So if we were to turn around and say, hey, we need these done within like 3 weeks, I think that's reasonable. So we can, 2-3 weeks, begin to go there, because I know he also wants to get this off his plate.
And how many boxes total?
30.
Three.
Have we entered into a contract with this builder?
No,
just-
it was just a,
Yeah.
It was done and complete, basically. It's
Yeah.
been paid.
Okay.
it's been paid in full.
He used to build the other two.
He delivered his as a final product based on the city's direction, and we went back to the drawing board.
He had 3 done.
Oh.
He had 3 done, is my understanding.
Well,
Okay.
I think we
Yeah,
just
but they were all
contacted
not the
him
way we
directly,
wanted
so
Yeah.
we stayed within the parameters of procurement law,
Mm.
and went with this vendor. It stayed under a certain threshold that it doesn't require a certain avenue. And so with that, that's how this individual we made contact with, and that's not really a contract, it's more of a service.
Mhm.
So that's how it went about.
Like, all right.
All right, well, we can go
Love
back
that.
to you.
Learning experience.
Yeah.
Okay, get back to your presentation.
Is it super heavy?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's bulky, but not heavy.
Okay.
See where we're. Okay, here we go. All right, so the traffic box art program, it is, like it says, the status is on hold. But because it's the summer right now, there's really not any progress. So we anticipate it picking that back up in the fall when school's back in session. I do know, we've had coordination internally with our public works team and the road team, and they are on board with putting wraps and artwork and stuff on our traffic boxes. Not the green big box pedestals that PEC owns, but the silver ones like at traffic lights and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah, so those ones are ours. So,
And one thing I think to speak to the other question of expediting things, I think what we could do also is already start identifying those placements. That way, once we're ready to speak with the school district, it's like, it's this location. So,
That's a good idea.
we probably work on that too.
and that should be able to really help them hone in on what those specific themes are. So,
how many schools do we have? I thought we didn't have Lehman High School.
I know.
Three.
we, for the
Okay,
school
so
district,
it's
three.
Hayes County. Okay.
Well,
Well, it's kind of strange. It's like a Buda Kyle kind of relationship, but you have Lehman, Hayes, Johnson, and then Johnson, which Johnson's at Buda.
So was one of the traffic boxes, the one, did we talk about the one by Veterans Memorial, was that one or
I don't think we've discussed location.
not?
But what we can do is identify those locations that we suggest, and also we have to figure out. Again, budget related. I think a lot of this is tied to a budget, which I'll have an update on that hopefully this next month, once the city manager presents their budget. Because I want to say that we are trying to allocate, and some of the conversations that Todd can speak to on his slide is having dedicated funding sources related to art. So that's one of those things that we're looking to do.
and we're increasing it, right? We're proposing increasing it, like 50 to 100.
Yes, but I don't know how that played out, so I was waiting to hear from city managers.
The budget ultimately has to be approved by the end of August for city charter,
Oh,
so the annual budget, so we're gonna find out within a month and a half.
Yeah, we're actually gonna find out here in a couple of weeks, is they're gonna be presenting, there's gonna be a special meeting on a Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I believe. 20 something,
The last Saturday.
yeah, last Saturday.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Sky Blooms with Jessica Bell. We are working on finalizing the contract. We actually might have some paperwork already in our emails for that. We are looking to schedule another meeting with them just to make sure we're all on the same page from a permitting perspective, what we need, all those specific documents to make sure that whenever the building department reviews it, they can pretty much just give it a thumbs up. But it's gonna take about 5 to 6 months for production, and we're looking to have it installed in January of 26. If we get it accelerated, of course, we want that, but that's the approximate timeline. And as y'all may remember, it's gonna be right there at Stupid Chase Park on that octagonal piece of concrete, right by the new playground. But they're gonna have to replace, or if not all of it, at least the central portion of it for the structural bit to make it just stand up appropriately.
I thought it was already installed, so I kept passing by and said, my God, it must be really small.
Can't see it.
No. No, I mean, it's about, what, 8 to 10 feet tall,
Yeah.
so,
Big.
it's pretty tall, so. It's gonna look pretty nice pairing with the new playground too, that's good, so.
So you just talked about the contract or whatever, so is the delay almost over?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. We were just, it was some minor stuff. that-
Yeah, it was terms and conditions on their end and then
Okay.
getting legal attorneys involved and
okay,
it was just something that it was something that should have happened at the beginning. We should have an executed contract with accepted terms and conditions, but
Mhm.
due to a lot of lessons learned that the city's experiencing right now, it was just one of those things that we're having to go back. We still have the authority to negotiate just small little terms. It's nothing that's changing the scope, changing the price, none of that. It's just legal stuff, which I'm not an attorney, so I have no idea some of the stuff is, but that's what the holdup has been.
so is this something we're going forward, we're not gonna run the same issue again then?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, and one of the tasks, hopefully, from a Todd standpoint. And I don't know exactly how that may be, but maybe having templates, so our purchasing procurement department is not really used to procuring art here in Kyle. And so maybe starting off from recommendations, hey, these are the base things that you should be looking for. That way, yeah, we don't run into these issues.
okay,
Granted, every contract, every artist may have their own terms and conditions when it comes to
right,
indemnifications or you name it. But overall, we're gonna have a boilerplate, hey, here's our things. So that won't happen. And really, what I've been asked or what I've been told is, ideally, prior to going to council, we will have an executed document for us to be able to say, hey, here's this contract, here's this document for you to authorize. Rather than saying, hey, here's the price, here's all this stuff, and we have the contract, but it's not finalized because the artist was wanting to get the approval first before solidifying their terms. So that's kind of what happened, which is what caused the delay.
so my other question is, this was approved by the city
Correct,
in this year,
correct.
this should not be treated as
Oh,
against
oh,
our
the
budget for
budget.
next year
Should roll
because this
over.
is in the next year. Do you
That's
know what I'm
correct,
saying?
yeah.
I
So
don't-
what's
you know
what's
what I'm
gonna
saying?
occur
Yeah.
is we're gonna have a purchase order that's gonna be opened and it's gonna be committed on this year's
Okay,
funds.
all right.
Absolutely, I go back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Your question right there, Rose, is one that happens with every single capital improvement project, because they're so large, they tend to span multiple years, or fiscal years, so that's pretty normal for us. We like to have it done in 1 year, but usually we don't.
No, I understand that. I just want, since they've already proved it, I don't want to say, well, like you guys are just talking about our budget for next
yeah,
year.
yeah,
I don't want to say,
yeah.
well, this building next year, there you go, that's all, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No, we'll be finalizing that and then we'll have the funding committed out of this year's budget.
Nice. Yeah, and just speaking from experience, I deal with artist contracts all the time, and we have probably 6 to 8 different templates,
Yeah.
depending on the scope of the work, like if they're monumental sculptures or, smaller commissions and whatnot, so definitely having templates and.
Yeah.
But we get asked all the time by artists, like going through our 15 to 18 page contract with them, and we try to align it with the AIA stuff and all that, so it's definitely we had to meet with a lawyer to redo all of our contracts, and so kind of, but it will make it easier in the end, I think, to have the templates, so.
Yeah. And one of the things that Todd's been doing, man, Todd, you're popular today. I keep throwing your name.
Gosh.
But he's gonna be meeting with the procurement department, to try to identify those gaps and identify those things that we need to improve on.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this one? Roundabout Art, this contract with Ann Coleman and Associates is pretty much wrapped up from a placement and planning perspective. The only real thing they have left on each roundabout is the actual standard detail, or what we call standard detail for the actual pedestal design itself. And so we're gonna be taking it from there as a staff perspective. And as each project starts coming online or getting to that point where we need to start organizing that specific roundabout from an art perspective, we're gonna be starting to talk with y'all about that in terms of, all right, we know this needs to have historic theme, this one over here needs to have an art theme, this one over here just needs to have a City of Kyle theme or whatever.
Yeah.
So the first one coming down the pipeline is gonna be the Windy Hill Roundabout, right there near Purple Martin and Indian Paintbrush. We are working with a longtime family over there that has a farm that they're wanting to convert over to like a living history kind of thing. So we're still early days on that, but once we start getting some pretty good traction, we're gonna end up bringing it to y'all for y'all's review and consideration as well.
Yeah, so ideally it's, we have a theme picked out, but what we're trying to do, one of the directions from the mayor was, can we get, I mean, it's subjective, right? But can we go ahead and get a story that we're not having to come back similarly to this last project, the RFP that we did? Where, I mean, it was a very vague, purposeful, vague scope of work, but can we be more intentional with the storytelling? And sort of what it is that we're seeking, to still leave it up to the artist's ability to, to do whatever they want, just based on how they interpret the verbiage. But ultimately it's trying to go in there with this fine scope. So next steps are finalizing funding, which is something that we're working with engineering currently, and then also finalizing the scope of work. That way we can get that out on the streets, and we envision that happening this fall, for us to go out to bid, for us to start going through the process of securing this piece of art.
So this is when we talked about being historical to the area though.
Correct, yeah, and actually, based on that meeting, council did select, it's very tiny, but they did select, out of the 3 themes that this board provided, it was honoring local history, embracing the future growth, and the flora and fauna. And so those 3, they basically distributed amongst all the allocated art stuff. So they're already been selected, so I could tell you.
So they picked all 3.
Good
Yeah,
job, guys.
so-
Perfect.
And so the one in front, the roundabout in front of Heroes Memorial is gonna be Veterans US History theme to tie with the red, white, and blue proposed signage. There's already a sign that they're doing with that roundabout. So they're going to highlight that there. Roundabout 4 was Windy Hill that Will just spoke about, so we're working with that local, I guess, group. And roundabout 9, which is BB, it looks like. Is that BB? Looks like, yeah, it's BB Road. That is gonna be embracing community growth theme. It's actually near our Republic Drive building, is what I see here, based on what we are showcasing here. Number 12, which is off Old Stagecoach, is gonna be flora and fauna themed, as well as roundabout 18, which is
Layman and
it's in between, Philomena and Lehman. I don't know what that road is.
I think it's fun.
Fun Creek.
So those are the themes. So they've already been allocated based on y'all's direction.
Which is a question of the specific artwork based on those themes.
And now it's just gonna be a matter of when is it that we're gonna release those scope of works. Probably won't be this year for those remaining 4, but we'll at least start with that one.
Okay.
And then here's
Oh, yeah.
what it looks like.
These are general painting schemes, and then you'll have the in the very middle circles where the art piece goes.
So they're gonna follow these schemes for all of them.
Mhm.
How large is that pedestal?
Like,
And it's
you
like-
go-
15 feet.
Yeah, you go back, it's things on there.
15 feet across, can
Okay.
support a ton and a half.
Oh,
Well, wait, a little more than a ton, 3,500 pounds. So. Fairly heavy, but
Mhm.
not too heavy. I
Mm.
mean, I can't lift it, but.
Now you can use the light Kyle.
There we go, there we go, there we go. The last item we have, to discuss and, is our public art master plan. It's in progress right now. So, the survey for the public art master plan was opened on June 18th. And then, the 24th and the 27th of last month, Todd, who's online here, he came down here, he started conducting interviews with city departments, city managers, city council members. He had an opportunity to meet with Rose. And he got a lot of good feedback, as I understand it. And so I will go ahead and kick it off to Todd.
And I would say
Go ahead.
too, before we kick off to Todd, there is an opportunity still to meet with Todd. So even though we weren't able to coordinate all these meetings, 'cause there's so much happening. I think Todd will speak to all the meetings that he's had, the feedback, but if anybody wants to meet with him one-on-one, there's still that opportunity. So it'll just be a matter of, you could probably reach out directly to Todd and figure out that schedule and talk to them in that manner. So I do want to offer that opportunity to you all as well. Sorry, Todd, go ahead.
Okay. Opportunity offered. So Chris can tell you how to get in touch with me. And there's some, I know, some of you I might reach out to directly. I know you've all filled out the questionnaire, but there might be more specific things you'd like to talk about. And in regard to the online survey, I think we have about 200 and I didn't check today, but as of yesterday, we had 229 responses. Generally, the responses are relatively reflective of the population breakdown of the city, except in one regard. 75% of the respondents are women, not men, which I'm sure a lot of us can develop off the cuff theories about that. The survey will still be open a couple more weeks. So if you have any way to spread word about it among any groups you're with, the neighbors, HOAs you're involved with, please help get the word out. It's a pretty healthy response for a city the size of Kyle, but I think it'd be really great if it could hit 250, 300. So we'll keep pushing. We did begin to the way the survey works, some of the questions are quantitative, and so the survey program just gives the results right away. The other questions, which are open-ended written answers, we've begun to build the framework for analyzing them already, so that as the last few responses come in, we can just fill them in, bring them into the formats we're using to evaluate them. And so I pretty much expect by the time you meet next, we can report back on the survey findings for you. So that's something to look forward to. And I did want to report for a minute on the visit I made in June, just to sort of give you an overview of the activities and just sort of a high level sense of what I learned. I'm still working through my notes, and I'm also busy scheduling follow-up interviews right now. So it's sort of part of the process where you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose of information. But in terms of activities, I interviewed, I believe, 5 city council members and the city manager. We had what we call an internal work group meeting with about 8 or 9 people from different city departments that will, in some way or shape or form, connect with the public art program. We did have a meeting with a small number of members of CAS, but it was their leadership group. So that was useful. I met independently with people from the planning department and with the library director. I went over to the library and she showed me around and some ideas she had about places that might be good for art, both with Will and on my own. I visited many parks in Kyle. I think probably most of the ones the city operates. Um, Will, after we toured around, I went back and visited them all again on my own. Um, and visited all of the roundabout sites that are being proposed for art, and also visited downtown. I also made a visit to some of the peer cities: Georgetown, Round Rock, Wimberley, New Braunfels, or comparator cities, to get a sense of what they were like and what kinds of public art things were happening there. So it was a busy three days. But I think, of course, Will and Chris also know that I found a great bakery, New World Bakery, and bought a bunch of bread to bring home. So we're enjoying that. I bought a pie and took it home. Couldn't leave Kyle without a pie. So I got to see some of the local haunts as well. Um, so, one of the things a public art plan does is it explains why public art is important to community and what public art ought to be about. And I think we'll get a lot of data about that from the survey, because one of the questions we're asking people is to say why they think public art's important and what do they think is special about Kyle. And from that we can begin to stitch that together. But in the interviews I had, we did talk a bit about why public art was important, and what people were hoping to see, and some of the themes that came out. Now, this shouldn't surprise you because you know Kyle, but some of the things I picked up on were the sense that things should be family friendly. That's why a lot of people live in Kyle. History is important. We're talking about that with the roundabouts. Beautification and placemaking. I have notes. Someone said, I don't remember who, but in quote, people should have nice things. That's one of the reasons for having public art in Kyle. We should have nice things here. And also to create artworks that, help Kyle stand out a little bit or differentiate it, or that people can identify with the city. Doesn't have to be big things. I think the little public art, the little art boxes, tiny art boxes we were talking about, are kind of interesting and fun, and certainly not something you see very much. And so, things like that even can be special and unique to a community. One of the things I was paying a lot of attention to and keeping track of were, future opportunities for public art. So it's kind of like a laundry list I keep, but and I'll be following up on all these things. There are a number of major parks right now that are being studied for their future programming and upgrades. And so I'll be talking to those park planning consultants to learn what their approach to that is and how we can track ideas about public art in the thinking about the future of those parks. Certainly another important resource, public space resource is the Vibe network, the trail, and particularly spots, locations along the Vibe trail. So those we have mapped, and we'll think about how to, as those evolve, what's the process for thinking about art. The roundabouts, 5 of those. So you begin to see it adds up pretty quickly, more than a dozen Vibe locations, 4 major parks, 5 roundabouts. It begins to be a lot of projects potentially. There are a couple of things the city is doing right now. The Animal Control Center and the skate park that were mentioned to me, some future prospects. future sportsplex. The library is considering, should it expand on site? Should it create a branch? What's its future infrastructure footprint going to look like? It's possible that public art could be part of that picture. The city is acquiring properties downtown for redevelopment. I believe it's starting a vision plan. Those are opportunities to think about art downtown. So it's a good time to be doing this public art plan because the city is teeing up a lot of things, parks, downtown, transportation infrastructure, all of which could potentially be places for public art. So these are things I learned about in my interviews and driving around and reading. And so the next weeks will be spent digging into those more directly. The interviews also surfaced a lot of implementation issues that this plan will deal with. One is funding. There's a strong interest in looking at some sort of percent for art model, whether that makes sense for Kyle. What would that be? What would apply to? How would it work? We'll have to be looking at staffing, who actually moves all these things along. What department is the best department right now? Parks and Rec is leading the charge. Is that the best place for public art to live? There's people ask me questions about how to kind of balance the roles of staff, the Arts and Cultural Board, elected officials. So the plan will those are things we'll have to look at. Glad to hear there's a contracts experts on board. I just want to tell you something. If you're an expert at contracts, it's not a good thing to admit because you're going to get all kinds of questions. It's a tricky area, and if you have a lot of experience in it, people will quickly ask you for help. As I've learned in a lot of my work in Philadelphia, somehow I keep getting saddled with doing contracts. Anyway, contracting, procurement, the comment was right. You don't need the same contract to borrow a piece of art and put it in a tiny art gallery that you need to create a roundabout sculpture. Very different contracts. And so the one I haven't dug into it a lot, but the one thing I did say is, fortunately, there are a ton of communities in Texas that have public art programs. So almost anything you can imagine, there's probably someone out there who's figured out how to do the procurement for it that is consistent with state codes. So hopefully it won't be too hard to help you all navigate that. And then questions about design and construction coordination. As again, Chris was talking about just now with the roundabouts, Chris or Will, the areas are identified. Now there needs to be foundational infrastructure. How do you make sure every step you take is consistent with the next step you're going to take? So those are implementation issues that the plan will help navigate. And then the planning department has a lot of questions too, planning issues they're interested in. They talked to me about how should the city approach property business owners, like restaurant owners who want to put murals on their walls, what reviews, if any. Similarly, sculptures on private property. How could art be incentivized or incorporated into any future RFPs of city property like downtown? How could art be required or incentivized in larger potentially commercial mixed use type developments? And again, how can art be incentivized or required in vibe areas? There's a lot of potential coordination with the land use and development codes and the planning processes. So really, it wasn't a visit to look for answers. It was a visit to surface questions, and these these will become sort of incorporated into the kind of agenda, the work plan for Kyle's public art plan. The plan will take on these questions and provide guidance on how the city can address these things. So that is my report.
Y'all have any questions or thoughts, Dr. Todd?
I do like the idea of, I thought of it before, like the one developer, what they're having, the one developer that did the letters that were laying down. The vibe, thing. I think that would be a nice thing for, particularly for a bigger development or commercial development or, that when we have this plan, we outline these are the parameters of such art that we would like to see and almost make it a requirement, like you have something like this, you need to have some art and it needs to fall within these parameters and, and you need to provide it and pay for it. They have the money.
And in other locations.
And, that will tie the whole community together too, if it's the kind of art that we're trying to, promote in town.
I think you're fortunate that you have a kind of logic to apply to that in terms of the Vibe network and downtown. I mean, those ideas that we should have a citywide trail system and there should be spots along it that are kind of focal points, activity centers, provides a lot of planning logic for where you'd like to see art, and the same with downtown. So those are things that could be built on.
Any other questions, guys? Yeah, those are good.
I shared the survey on my Instagram and my neighborhood Facebook page and all that, but I did notice that one of the Kyle ones got a lot of negative comments on it. They were well received. So, yeah, so hopefully we'll get some more submissions for the survey. Keep putting it out there. When are you closing the survey?
I'm not I have to go back and look and see. Chris or Will, do you remember what date we picked? Was it like the end of this month? I think.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
So how do you know what people's answers were? Was it just because people were responding on Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook, there was probably about 50 comments and a lot of them were very, very negative. That they didn't like the idea of, the money, city spending money on art rather than other things.
And it's
So,
kind of the same people that are, it's always the same.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the city leadership makes of Facebook, to be honest with you. But Chris sort of brought this up when we made the survey, that we should provide an opportunity for people to sort of like open-endedly offer any comment they'd like about public art. And so, the survey has one or two questions which ask people if they have any concerns about public art, about the city doing it. And so I think that the survey provides an opportunity for people to express those kinds of ideas. And I think you'll find, the balance of people in the survey are, strongly supportive of the city having some kind of art in the city. There are people who communicate that wouldn't be their priority, but it's certainly not an overwhelming number of people. And, you just have to think about the arguments as to why, you would advocate for this, and just lead with that, and make sure you always have a good case to make. And the survey does ask people, it does ask them to choose from a list of reasons why they think public art is valuable for the city. So we can play that back to the elected officials and say, people think public art's important for these reasons, giving them a constructive kind of, view of why the city should be investing. I have to say, talking to the city's leadership, like the council, the city manager, I didn't really get a sense that there was much resistance to supporting public art. I think that I think that there was sort of an interest in finding out how to develop a strategy that fits for Kyle, which is what this plan is all about.
It's like, it's not real.
I did respond to, one of the comments on Facebook, because it was, most of them were in regards to, we need to spend our money on this instead of that, right? And, they should be paying attention to this instead of that. And so my response was, we do realize that once we have our art master plan in place, we are eligible for grants. And doesn't necessarily mean this art is gonna come out of your pocket. We're gonna have these grants, there's all kinds of grant, and I listed like 3 different places where we can get money from. And so some of the very people that were negative about it then did like the comment that I made about the money.
Nice.
So I think you just need to sometimes educate
Educate,
some of them,
sure.
they are all thinking their taxes are gonna go up because we're gonna have art, or they think this road's not gonna get done because we're gonna have art. And then, also, I'm saying the cement's gonna be there regardless, so why don't you wanna make the cement look nice?
Yeah.
That kind of thing,
It's okay, once we have public art, they'll get off Facebook, so,
So it is, responding with the right
It's good.
information.
Education is very powerful.
Anything else?
I-
You gonna move on?
Real quick, Rose, I know there was one item, I'm not sure if you guys spoke on the CAS item, but we will be bringing an item
Yeah.
forward this next month to get support.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. While you were.
Don't have anything else.
Get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Oh, I know, I actually do need a real, I actually do need a real second, okay. First was Fabiana, second was Melissa. Okay, great. Vote?
Okay. All right, everyone. Good night. I will see you soon.
All those in favor?
I.
All those. Meeting adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that like Olive Garden, or like if you never say, like if you say we don't wanna end the meeting, we just like. We're here all night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fabiana,
Yes.
they just, I did it, but also I thought. Tell me if I can get us to a small one.
I can.
No, it's yours. It's yours.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.